Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, lax rats alike, welcome back to another episode of the Crease Dive. Today is Thursday, March 2nd, and can you smell that, Dukes? Can you? It smells like lacrosse is in the air. The calendars have flipped over to March. And, listen, I love February lacrosse just as much as the next guy, but this is where the season really starts to feel like the real thing. We've got great weather. We've got the sun staying out a little bit later. We've got high school seasons starting up all over the country. This is lacrosse season. I'm Jordie from Barstool, and with me, as always, we've got Doogs in the lab. Doogs, how we feeling, brother? Big month for you coming up here between some more college lax and college hoops.
This is a lot of people are, like in college basketball terms, a lot of people say January, February, Izzo, April, because they think that Coach Izzo owns March. I think people got to start saying January, February, Dukes, April. March is my biggest month of the year between college basketball, college lacrosse, being a Barstool guy that does both. Huge month for me. But Jordie, I want to go back to something. When you started saying, do you smell that, Dukes? I did smell something, and it wasn't lacrosse. It was a dead body, and it was 6 of them in the Ivy Leagues. I mean, what a dead conference the Ivy is. Yeah.
You're in the office right now, so I didn't know what was going on in the Barstool HQ when you said that a dead body. But yes, the Ivies are maybe not all of them. I like how you said 6, right? Because we always forget that Dartmouth exists, even though Dartmouth did beat Hokro. So shout out to Dartmouth on that one. Yeah, what a miserable weekend for the Ivies. Listen, they were bound to come back to reality after what they did last season. And this was just a huge weekend for all of us Donna haters out there. So this was, Donna just wanted to shove the Ivies down our throats in the NCAA tournament last year. She better pipe down this time around, because that was a brutal weekend for the nerds of lacrosse. Listen, should we just, might as well, right? Should we just get right into the Ivies and talk about what a tough weekend it was for all those dorks? Because we've got Yale losing to Penn State at home. Second year in a row, maybe not at home for the second year in a row, but second year in a row that they've lost to Penn State, right? And think about how dog shit Penn State was last year. They only had 3 wins on the entire season, one of them against Yale. So right now, Penn State, Yale's daddy, even though if you want to go back to the 2019 tournament, whatever, we don't have to. But Yale loses at home to Penn State. Penn loses at home to Duke, a game that I was unfortunately enough to be there in person and freezing my ass off watching that game. And then Princeton loses at home to Maryland. They get fucking waxed by Maryland. So 3 huge games on the schedule. All 3 games were home for the Ivies. All 3 losses. Dudes, we can start with whatever one you want to start with, but all of them are a little rough.
We can start with the game that you were at. Eyes on the ground. You saw, some big boys out there. You saw Brennan O'Neill in person, Sam Hanley in person. Were you impressed by anybody?
So there were definitely a few people that I was impressed by. I got to be like, for the most part, I was just like trying my best just to get any feeling in my toes. So like I was kind of like, it was kind of hard to watch the game. It was fucking freezing out, just standing there. So credit to me for having the dedication and the passion enough to stay out there for all 4 quarters. Dude, one thing that I was like incredibly impressed by during this game, Andrew McAdory's calves.
Yeah.
Dude, these things are fucking rock solid, dude. It is insane to see. Obviously like just seeing the size of Brennan O'Neill and Sam Hanley, like, yeah, like they're towering figures. They're big human beings. But like when I saw McAdory come out for the first face-off, dude, it literally looked like they just chopped off the bottom half of a statue and threw him on there. So that young man, would love to know what his calf raise PR is. The rest of the game, though, listen, Duke, this was actually a huge game for Duke, because I don't think that they've ever before this point beaten Penn at Penn before. So have to assume, big legacy game for Danowski. Was actually boots on the ground the last time that Duke lost at Franklin Field a few years ago. But this was a game that, I thought that probably was going to play out. The final score ends up being exactly what I kind of thought it would be. I thought the Duke's probably the better team and that they would win a close game. The final score doesn't tell the whole story of this game, though, because for the most part, Duke was just fucking pumping Penn. At one point, I think it was like 8-2, like right before halftime. And then Penn was able to score a nice little juice goal right before halftime, just to at least go into the locker room with something. But like, they were looking lifeless for a while, and they were getting plenty. Like Penn was getting plenty of looks. So shout out to Wilhelm in cage. Yeah, Willem for in cage for Duke, because he had a lot of big saves. But I don't know. Just the combination of McAdory and Brendan O'Neill is just it's very menacing to see in person, so I can understand why this team has been so successful.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they got a lot of work from a lot of different scorers in this game from Duke. I wasn't able to watch it obviously in real time, because if you were following me on Twitter, obviously I was at the PLL Championship Series, but I watched a little bit of the game back because a student of the game I am. Just because I know the score and the outcome doesn't mean that I can't get better as I study the film. And what I saw in the film was, does Duke, my take about Duke being like the most talented roster or whatever, that attack line, I think all three of those guys are pros. All three of those guys, I mean, besides, like, McAdory is going to be talked about as a number one pick. Brendan O'Neill is going to be talked about as a number one pick. They are legit.
I mean, Dyson Williams in the NLL could be a number one guy.
Great point. Is he not? Did he already get drafted?
He might. It's hard to keep track of those things.
Well, I mean, yeah.
If he didn't already get drafted first overall, like I think he's going to.
Yeah, I'm fairly certain he either did get drafted number one overall or he's like going to. Whatever. Point stands. This fucking Duke team is loaded. That defender put the clamps on Sam Hanley. The clamps.
So Wilson Stevenson, another guy who I'm going to talk about a little bit later in the show, because I have him pegged as a winner for a certain segment that we're going to talk about. Okay. But dude, Wilson's but I mentioned this in a tweet before. So, I'm obviously going to talk about him right now. I went to that game excited to see the matchup between Sam Hanley and Brendan O'Neill, just a couple mutants going after it, that pretty much like the X-Men Bowl right there. But Wilson Stevenson was like dude, he was the baddest dude on the field. Every time, and like, dude, Sam Hanley definitely was. I don't know if it was because it was cold and he was forcing things, just because or I don't know if it's just because he was getting clamped up by Wilson Stevenson that he was forcing things, but he was just not having any luck against Wilson Stevenson. Like, dude, anytime he went to lower shoulder and just run through him, no fucking dice. Wilson Stevenson was standing him up. Yeah, great performance out of him. Dude, another sick poll who unfortunately ended up on one of the sickest highlights that we'll see this season. Dude, BJ Farrar he's so good. He's so quick, so great in transit. And early in the game, there was one point where McAdory kind of tried to initiate contact with him, and BJ Farrar just ate him up like it was nothing. And I was like, fuck, 70 and white is here to play. But I forget, it might have been the fourth quarter, but this highlight got posted everywhere, and it was one of the nastiest rocker steps you'll ever see out of Andrew McAdory. Just sent BJ Farrar to the shadow realm. Dude, anyone listening to this show right now has probably seen either TLN posted or ECD posted, or whoever you follow on Instagram or TikTok post it. But dude, you think about the rocker step. I'm always thinking about the rocker step. You're dodging from X and you're coming up the hash, and then you rocker step, and then you get back to top side. I don't know, if I've seen the rocker step going down the alley the same way that Andrew McAdory did this one. It was filthy.
You want me to pull it up for the people? I can do that. I have the ability.
Wow. We're look at this tech guy.
I just downloaded it. Let me pull this up for the people. This is why you subscribe to the YouTube, Jordie. You only got to get the audio in the car right now on the train. I'm about to show the people that subscribe to us on YouTube, like, comment, appreciate us in the comments. I'm about to present this right now in 2 seconds. Doing it. All right, ready?
Oh, I've been ready.
Is that
it? Yeah, that's it.
Today we're going to be breaking down Andrew McAdory's.
And there's Deemer class.
I just downloaded the first thing that I saw.
I thought what you were going to do is you were going to pull it up on your phone and then put your phone up to the camera and then show everybody that way.
No, but I can. Do you want me to try to get the rocker stuff? All right, because I found it officially. Yeah, I found it. Give me. I'm going to get this right.
I have faith in Tech Guy Doogs.
These are the things. I meant to tell you that I could do this now. But I found the right video. I didn't get the Deemer class one.
We love Deemer. Make sure that you guys are following First Class Lacrosse.
Great follow. Here it is. This is good. This is good podcasting radio right here.
Well, again, this is why you should be watching on YouTube. I mean, Jesus, dude. One little step and he sends BJ Farrar like 5 yards to the sideline.
Right here. If you're watching this, there you're like, what great defense, great positioning by BJ. Like you're like, that's a coach's son. A coach, like that's a coach. The defense in the locker room right now is like BJ's gonna eat him up. Right there, you know he's about to get his ankles snatched.
It was insane. It was so sick. Yeah, I mean,
when you get the sideline, let's just appreciate the sideline work right here.
Well, yeah. Well, especially because at that point in the game too, like Penn had gone on a little bit of a run. Duke wasn't able to get much going offensively because again, I think that they had like 8 at halftime, and then I don't even know if they scored it all in the third quarter. They might have had like 1 goal in the third quarter. So like that was like just a big juice goal to get them going. But the fact that he also just snatched a pair of ankles brutally in the fashion that he did. Yeah. So big game out of McAdory, big game out of Wilson Stevenson. And yeah, I mean, Penn just needs to kind of figure out what they need to do the rest of this year. And I don't think it's run absolutely everything through Sam Hanley. I think they've got some really good players in Cam Rubin and Dylan Gregar. So might want to, Ship also. But yeah, so listen, tough one for Penn. They showed a lot of fight to get themselves back into the game because that game could have and should have been over at halftime. And it still kind of came down to those last couple minutes. The one game that just they were never able to get themselves into anything is Princeton also getting clamped up against Maryland. So Maryland, they get their big 11-5 win over the Tigers. Big game out of Daniel Maltz. I feel like these Maltzes just keep coming every couple of years. There's a new one in there. But Danny Maltz, he had, I believe he had 4 goals on the game, and 14 saves out of freshman goalie Brian Ruppel. So I know that this is a kind of a,
we hate this guy. It sucks. It sucks because now I have to be a Maryland hater again. I don't think they gave Teddy a fair shot. I don't even know if my take can be wrong when they don't. That like he's 1-0, and from all I'm concerned, he's 1-0.
You're not wrong.
Like, could the coach I don't know. There's probably different factors to it. I mean, obviously, coaches know what's going on more, but like if they see the guy in practice, they obviously think he's better than my prediction. It also wouldn't surprise me if every single goalie on the Maryland roster could start. Maryland, it just like gets good goalies and good recruits. But he played a hell of a game. But Dante Trader, I think, stole the story for me.
Another nasty, nasty highlight to come out of the weekend.
And I can present it. I can have it ready to go.
Do you have it ready?
Yeah, can I just talk about this man really quick? It is so fucking funny to think about that. Like some of these kids are going to be legitimately on Princeton are going to be working at Goldman Sachs in like a couple of years. look like me, beer gut and stuff, maybe like lightly work out following the soft 75. And they're going to be like, yeah, that man in the NFL, Dante Trader, locked me up, knew where I was going before I even knew where I was going, made me retire from the sport of lacrosse, made him look like a fool. This is legitimately a coach's wet dream on how to play defense. So again, subscribe to the YouTube to check it out. He just shakes his head no.
Oh yeah, this is my first time seeing the shaking his head no part.
Oh, the shaking the head no. I'm gonna play it one more time. Is the funniest thing. Slow shaking.
And like here's like Coulter Mackesy,
Yep.
shifty little guy, little water bug out there. And great, he still had 3 goals on the day. So
It doesn't matter.
No. But what I'm saying,
that erases anything you've ever done in the sport of lacrosse. You're an All-American last year. Now you're a little recruit, top 100 recruit.
No. I was saying this to make it better for Dante Trader. Like Coulter Mackesy is a shifty cat who had like 3 goals. Like he just clamped one of their nastiest players and like barely broke. He didn't have to huff and puff at all. It was just like, hey, this is light work for me. You're not getting anywhere on the field right now. You can try all you want, and I can guarantee you that you're not moving a single inch on me.
I'm trying to look for it, but like going off, like I was trying to say that like Coulter should like retire from the sport as a whole, like in a dramatic way. But yeah, he had the highlight last year where he did the same exact move and completely broke someone's ankles and then went top shelf.
Oh yeah, little low to high.
It might have even been against Maryland, to be honest, now that I think about it.
If I'm thinking about it, I think that it was a little bit earlier. I think it might have been like an early March game because I kind of remember it being little chilly night out in Princeton. I remember what you're talking about, but
yeah. So like you're right. Like it does speak volumes about Dante Trader, but it's also to the funniest thing. I think that like somebody said it. I think it's way easier for athletes to transition to D-Medi than offensive middies, obviously.
Again, that was Deemer, so make sure you guys are following First Class Lacrosse.
Was that him? I mean, it's also like what I kind of thought was going to happen with Ricky Meason, but Ricky Meason's kind of just like stepping into his own that team. But yeah, I think he has the argument to be the best D-Medi in the country.
Yeah. I mean, you shut down Mackesy like that in that fashion. I can't have it, dude. And like, here's the thing: like, if you're getting a short stick in college lacrosse, you're still really good, but like, it's not the same thing. It's like you get a short stick in the pros, and like you're still one of the nastiest players in the world. You get a short stick in college, you're really good, but you're not like if they're not pulling you, you're not like this absolute like insane lacrosse player. You're very, very, very good, but you're not this like unstoppable force. So what I'm saying is like, if you're not like that guy and you're like, all right, well, at least I have a short stick to dodge against, like that's fine. Like I don't want to have to dodge against a pole. But then you see that the short stick that you have to dodge against is Dante Trader. You're like, what the fuck am I doing here? Like, I'm not supposed to have to go up against a guy like this. Like, I'd rather take a pole at that point.
I've thought like, why don't they just put a pole in his hand? But then I was like, you don't have to.
Yeah,
you don't have to waste one.
So like
a little bit less athletic.
The pole is like just there. It just gives you like, it gives guys a little bit of an extra breather just to like make sure that they can react to what the Dodgers doing. You don't have to react to what the Dodgers doing if you're Dante Trader, because you already know exactly what he's going to try to do.
Obviously, the game's already happened, and we're talking about the Ivy League right now. But I just want to switch gears a little bit, just to, like, talk about the Big Ten. Maryland's defense is phenomenal. But I mean, so Ohio State and Maryland, they're having a show off between, not show off because obviously they just dropped 17. I'm not saying like goaltending and everything, but like the duo that Ohio State has, Robbie Van Buren held Schellenberger to like what, 1 assist?
2 assists. I think he had pretty sure he had like 4 CTOs on the day or something like that.
If you're doing that against Schellenberger and you still lose by 11, that just shows like you gave it your best shot. Like you truly gave it your all. I mean, it just might not be the year.
Yeah. I mean, dude, like this Maryland defense is
legit.
Scared. Yeah, scared. So like goaltending goaltending is going to be pretty much the key to both of that because they got 14 great saves out of Brian Ruppel or Rappel, however you want to say that last name. Who knows if that's going to end up being like just like what he does week in and week out, or who knows if like, you know, this coming week, things kind of just hit the fan a little bit. But yeah,
I've mushed Teddy Dolan. I've mushed Duke. What I'm doing is a historic run. It's like nobody has done it better than me.
Notre Dame by 5.
I'll take Venmo's at Kevin McDougal if you want me to mush any upcoming opponents. Just let me know. I'll see them.
Yeah. And then real quick, I mean, so Yale losing to Penn State. Probably the biggest thing there is just not a lot of Matt Brandau sightings in that game. I think he ended up with a goal and 2 assists. That goal didn't come until the fourth quarter. Again, second year in a row where Penn State has gotten one over Yale. So I don't know. We kind of see this happen in college lacrosse. The same thing with, like Jacksonville beating Duke. You know, it's just these things where for some reason or another, a team has another team's number, even though that other team might be significantly better than them. But really good game out of Penn State, especially their goalie. I don't even want to figure out how to say this last name. Jack whatever. Frackett. Yeah. So 16 saves for him. So let's see, you got 16 saves out of your goalie against Yale. It's a good recipe for success right there. I don't think that Yale should be worried too much about that game. I think they're probably going to bounce back, but still a hilarious addition to the bad weekend for the Ivies.
Yeah, and I know I didn't really get to catch most of these games, so I'm not going to pretend like I watched and I'm some expert. I'm just basically going off what I lightly saw in like YouTube highlights and what I see on Twitter from people that I trust. Shane Thornton, obviously a Yale alum himself, he's worried about the defense. So I would like to verbatim steal that take. And I'm going to say I'm worried about the Yale defense.
Well, you want to know who could probably help that defense out a little bit right now, but he is currently operating with one of the biggest wagons in college lacrosse at the moment. What a transition. Let's talk about Chris Fake and the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. They lay a beatdown 15-8 over Georgetown. The Hoyas are just down for the count right now. 15-8 win in DC. Chris Fake just locking down Tucker Dordovic, held him to a goal. And I don't even think that goal came against Fake. So scary defense and obviously a scary, potent offense when you have brothers Kavanaugh running the show. So 6 points out of the 2 Kavanaughs. I feel like that's pretty much, I feel like they've been like matching each other points wise every game so far in their 3 games, but it's just like Pat will have like a goal and 5 assists, and then Chris will have 5 goals.
And what is it? Yeah.
Chris, not much of a share of the rock, but kid can finish.
When are we gonna start saying, is this gonna be the year that we get 2 brothers winning the Heisman again, the Tewaaraton again? Together. Will we see it? The Kavanaughs winning the Tewaaraton together, just like the Thompsons did, is very much in play.
I don't know how you could give it to one over the other right now, and I don't know how. They're at the very least, they both have to be finalists.
I think that they legitimately would want to win it together. And obviously this is not taking anything away from Brendan O'Neill or like Schellenberger, but like what the Kavanaughs are up there in South Bend, but the menaces that they're being, like Matt Kavanaugh had a case to win it by himself some years. Now you have 2 of them on the same roster. It's insane.
I feel like they would want to probably fight for it. I don't know. Could you give it to?
Win. I think they'd want to win together.
You think that they'd want to win it together instead of? They seem crazy.
No, look, you're thinking Philly scumbags. You know, Philly scumbags. I don't know what they teach you guys. Brothers want to beat up brothers, but on the Long Island, it's all about family. You want to win. You want to win the trophy with your brother. I can't speak for the Kavanaughs, but I know that I want to win with my brother.
Right. Well, either way, 6 points out of the two of them. To Georgetown, right? I mean, they come in the season preseason 3 in the country, preseason ranked number 3 in the nation, and right now they are out of the top 20. They dropped their first 3 games of the year. Doesn't get any easier for them either. They play against Princeton this weekend, and then maybe things kind of ease up a little bit once you have Richmond after that. But I mean, they just couldn't get a stop. Did you end up going to this game, or was that a drunken plan that you made while you were at the bar down?
I'm not gonna take this slander. So here's what happened. I woke up a little hungover, and I said, promises made, promises delivered. I walk outside the hotel, and I see that it's snowing. Mind you, the day before it was 85 and sunny in DC. So I walk outside the hotel, like a little like dusty, and I see snow on the ground, and I was like, I like lacrosse. I don't know how much I love it to be watching it in the snow right now, where like I can't see the ball. I was like, I'll just watch it on TV. And let me tell you, the hungover breakfast that I got delivered in bed to watch Notre Dame Georgetown was way better than sitting in the stands alone. But it was a great, and honestly, thank God I didn't go, because if I went for a blowout, that would be no bueno.
Yeah, well, I mean, Notre Dame right now, they seem like they're on a collision course. Obviously, they're going to have to play against Virginia in ACC play. They play against each other towards the end of this month, and then they play again at the end of April. But it seems like a collision course for Virginia versus Notre Dame in the final, because these two teams, right? It's very clear and apparent that they are an extra tier ahead of everybody else in the country. And obviously, you know, the first 2 wins for Notre Dame, not like marquee wins. They get a win against Marquette and Cleveland State. So it's not like, you know, it's not like those are 2 huge wins, but the fashion that they did it, just absolute beat down. And then the fact that they go down to DC to play against Georgetown, you know, and Georgetown might have their tail tucked between their legs a little bit so far this season, but that's still almost doubling up a team that, by most accounts, at the beginning of the season, supposed to be, you know, a Final Four caliber team. So Notre Dame, just sick stuff out of them. And who do they have coming up this weekend? So Maryland. So big one coming up for them.
Easy.
Irish by 5.
Yeah, it's when I say this is going to be one of the easiest games that Notre Dame has had in years, this is.
Well, we'll get to that once we get around to our weekend preview. But again, the other wagon in college lacrosse right now, and this team, just bunch of fucking shit kickers right now. The Virginia Cavaliers. So they go down to Florida to play in some fucking little showcase type of situation. I forget exactly what they call it.
Yeah, the PLL sixes.
Yeah. So would they win?
Oh, are we doing this? Are we doing like, could Georgia beat the Detroit Lions? Like one of those.
If Virginia sent their best 6s team down to the PLL 6s, would they win?
They would lose each game by like 15.
I don't know. Not when Matthew Nunez is down there making 8 saves against Ohio State. But no, so they go down 17-6 over Ohio State. And Doogs, I have to give you credit for this one. I know that it's been a tough few weeks for your brain. You know, a few weeks where maybe your takes haven't quite aged as well as you would like them to, but you called this one from the get-go. You said that, you know, going into this game, hey, maybe this Ohio State defense, a lot of chatter was out there. Maybe this Ohio State defense can finally kind of slow down this Virginia offense. Dukes, you said not a fucking chance. This is going to be a blowout, and a blowout it was, 17-6. And how many times are we going to watch a team just get fucking dunked on over and over again by Peyton Cormier? I feel like we've been watching it for 8 years now, where Cormier just hangs out in the crease, scores a quick like 5 goals before anybody even realizes that he's out there, might add another goal or 2 the rest of the game. This little fucking guy, man, he is a menace. He is a menace. And you know that he's talking shit the entire time.
how could you not? I mean, the guy just grubs and scores goals, and like not in a bad way, but he's Lord Thickness. I mean, he just keeps getting thicker and thicker, and like it's almost like he gets thicker with each goal that he scores throughout his career. Like he's got a career in the PLL. Like I see him visually, I see him on the Chaos. I don't know about you, but like I see him fitting like that mold and like that finisher, like not having to move around too much. Like just fucking fit, scoring goals left and right. That's what he does. He only knows how to score goals.
Yeah, he's got and you know, obviously this wouldn't bode well for his PLL career, but he does have a lot of why am I blanking on his name right now?
I think I know who
the Yale cat who got his finger bitten off.
Gaudette.
Yeah, he's got a lot of Matt Gaudette in him, where he's just yeah. Well, let's not forget about the run that Gaudette went on when Yale won the national championship.
Great, Cormier's done it for legitimately a decade. My adulthood, Cormier's been doing it.
It doesn't not feel like he's been at Virginia for 8 years.
Dude, when I saw Jeff Connor was still on the roster, I had to turn to Jake Malasek, who works here, and I was like, dude, what the fuck? I was like, I feel like I was at Lincoln Financial, like I was putting some buy best like Duke or whatever. Like, what is going on? Insane. That guy, the roster, like Xander Dixon's been there, it feels like forever. Like there's just like these guys just won't fucking graduate. And like you think you're like it's Griffin Schutz's time to shine. It's like, no, it's not. He's like
he still has like 5 guys ahead of him that are,
and I bet you he has like 7 years of eligibility left. Like I don't know what's going on in the academics office, but none of these guys graduate.
Yeah. And like the reason why is because we have seen so much Virginia lacrosse, like
on television, the names, they stick with you.
And you know, you win 2 national championships, you get to, you know, another final, or you get to the, you know, quarterfinals last year. They're probably going to make it to Memorial Day Monday again this year. So, you know, we see these guys a lot, and with the COVID, but like, holy fuck, man. Like I can't wait for some of these guys to graduate. I can't imagine what some of these defenses are saying right now. But yeah, credit though to Bobby Van Buren for holding Connor Schellenberger to 2 assists. Granted, you know, you might not have to, his foot might not have been on the gas that much when you have Peyton Cormier just finishing everything for 7 times. So you didn't have to press much, but still really solid game out of him.
It says basically, I said word for word, like you could, Bobby Van Buren could shut down Connor Schellenberger, and it does not matter, and it did not matter. This speaks volumes to like it's Virginia right now. To me visually, credit to me, it's Virginia, a little drop off. I'm not. It's Virginia, Notre Dame, Wagons.
So it's Virginia, and then you know those houses where like the kitchen is on like just like a little bit of a different level than the living room. Like there's that one little step. So there's
Virginia's just proved it more. I don't know how to, like right now, like obviously like the Notre Dame defense is always gonna be the Notre Dame defense. Entman is, I think, even has the upper hand in goal. Kavanaugh's. I don't know. It's actually getting tough.
But then you got to deal with PD LaSalle. Then you got to deal with PD LaSalle, who had a huge game at the face-off stripe in this one. He also had 2 goals.
Lynch. I don't know. I think Lynch might have the upper hand at face-off too. Like that'll be a good matchup to watch over Memorial Day weekend for sure.
We're gonna get a chance to see it twice before.
I'm excited. Then. Yeah, we'll also tell a lot about Notre Dame because like it's not like they really played anyone. Like you played like, you know, some lower programs like Georgetown and then some like mid majors like Cleveland State. So like it's very tough just to like see where they're at.
Oh my God. Jack Rowlett just threw a helmet at you.
Yeah. I think it's just, you know, Virginia, Notre Dame, 10 piles of shit, and then Maryland.
Yeah. Also, Kate Alstad, pretty menacing defender as well for Virginia.
Yeah, I mean, that defense is like, really quick, just like I'm about to like go respond to this fucking loser on TikTok. He's talking about like lacrosse athletes, and I was like saying like, look at who all these athletes are playing college lacrosse, like talking about Xavier Arline, Ricky Meason, whatever. He's like, the name someone that doesn't play lacrosse, football, that's an athlete. It's like, fucking look at the fucking Virginia defense. They're all 6'6". They're standing with 6 feet poles, and they have like a head and shoulders above those like sticks. They make them look like fiddlesticks. It's insane.
Yeah, I saw someone tweet that out, like just a photo of the Virginia defense bringing it in for a huddle, and everybody above 6 feet.
Even Castor, like he's phenomenal. So I don't know, but yeah, I really like. You know what? As a lacrosse guy, I think that we're going to be the first podcast to officially say Virginia and Notre Dame are good at lacrosse.
I feel confident in saying it, yes. Just a couple other things from this week. Don't have to talk too much about them. I do want to give a shout out to Devin McClain on Brown, 9 goals against Vermont. The Cuse UNC game was it was an exciting game.
It was a game.
It was definitely a lacrosse game that was played. 19-13, so a lot of goals in that one. A lot of them filthy. Cuse's man up was just ridiculous. Anytime we get to see a couple Sean Goldsmith snipes, it's a good thing. So UNC looking pretty solid. Pretty sure. They've got Denver this weekend, so at home that should be a good one for UNC. Anything else from the weekend in college lacrosse? Obviously, we already talked all about PLL 6s.
Yeah, nothing. I really got nothing, and I'm not gonna, as an authentic guy, can't really speak on anything too much right now.
This guy and his integrity, man.
I'm not gonna spew any bullshit. I watched the games I watched.
All right. Well, that is going to bring us into. We've got a new segment coming up for you, boys and girls. The weight room of the week, and this is going to be brought to you by Shark Chalk. So real quick, let's discuss the segment and let's discuss Shark Chalk. This is going to be an award that we hand out every week to the biggest and baddest dude in college lacrosse of that week. So it could be someone who just ran through an opponent, could be a big hit, could be a PLL ref who just soaked a shot right to the nuts and barely even flinched. So whoever is the biggest, baddest dude in college lacrosse of that week, we will be giving them the weight room of the week presented by Shark Chalk. Shark Chalk, it's going to be a new version of, listen, anyone who goes into the gym, you've seen the chalk that people use. It gets all over the place, right? You're doing a lot of heavy lifting. It's good for you, but you don't need to chalk up the entire place, right? Especially if you're someone like myself who wears a lot of black to the gym. The chalk just gets everywhere. You leave the gym looking like a cokehead. So this Shark Chalk, it's liquid chalk. You just put it on your hands, doesn't make a mess. It lasts longer than your traditional gym chalk. It comes in 3 different varieties. So you're going to be able to get a great lift and you're not going to make a mess all over the place. So Shark Chalk, you can check them out at sharkchalk.com. You can also find them on Instagram at Shark Chalk. And when you go there, pick yourself up a couple bottles of some liquid chalk and make sure to put in promo code LAX20 at checkout. That's going to give you 20% off of your order. So weight room of the week brought to you by Shark Chalk. I'm going to go ahead. I told you this before. We already talked about him this week, but Wilson Stevenson, just a fucking beast out there against Sam Hanley and Penn. Like I mentioned, Sam Hanley, big boy, would try to put his shoulder down into Wilson Stevenson, wasn't moving him an inch. Dude, this guy also, like, you watch him on wings of faceoffs, that ball's on the ground, got 4 or 5 different dudes going for it. Guess who's coming up with it? 19 in blue for Duke. And then he's going to pick that ball up. He's going to soak a bunch of checks. Not even going to bother him whatsoever. Pretty sure I got his stats up here too. This man is listed at 6'3", 225, just a fucking brick shit house. So like I said, went to a game looking to see Sam Hanley versus Brendan O'Neill. Turns out biggest, baddest dude on the field, at least in my eyes, Wilson Stevenson. So my weight room of the week. Dukes?
My weight room of the week is somebody that played football in college.
Nick Casello?
Not Chris Hogan. Wait, no. Fuck. Whatever. You get the point. People
Jim
play
Brown?
football. My weight room of the week is Ricky Meason. I don't know if you saw him run through the entire Ohio State team. I'm pretty sure that Nick Myers even got some slaps in there, but Ricky Meason just put on the gas, was knocking people over, forgot that he was playing football. I'm sure at one point he didn't even have the ball on his stick, and he was just running through Ohio State. He saw Buckeye. He saw the stickers on the helmet. And he's like, I'm going. It was like a bowl of red, just fucking knocking over everyone on their ass. That's my weight room of the week. It was a close call between that and Dante Trader.
Did you see where he just flew through the air, full extension, little tomahawk check on the ride?
Yes, it was after that.
So the tomahawk check picked it up and then ran through everybody, yeah. Right? Okay, I knew. Dude, what? I mean, again, what the fuck what are you supposed to do when he's out on the field against you?
Yeah, you don't
pray.
You sit down. I guess. You find religion for the sure. Yeah, whichever one you want to choose. I'm sure that you're taking college courses, general ed, have to learn about a bunch of religions. Pick your favorite one, pray on the field, and get going after that.
Yeah, going to be tough to top Ricky Meason when it comes to anything involving the weight room. All right, so that is weight room of the week. That is going to bring us into another segment. We've got buy, sell. Doogs, I'll let you start off here, so you can start with either your buy or your sell. But
what should I start with? Give me what I should start with, and I'll start with it.
Let's go ahead and buy a few things.
All right, fine. I'm gonna buy sixes in general. I think it was a huge week for sixes. I think that people were turned off by it. I think that people grew to appreciate that it's just a different variation of lacrosse. I think it's necessary to grow the game around the world, even though that a bunch of people are going to be butthurt hearing that because it's not the version that they grew up liking. I think that it's not the future of lacrosse, but it's the future of the growth for lacrosse. A lot of teams can't compete with the U.S. and Canada or the Iroquois. This sixes version will allow for some competitiveness and get people involved in the game, which is the whole fucking point of the sport, is to grow the game and get people involved. So I'm buying sixes.
So the Ty Warner tweet that sixes is better than field. You're buying stock in that?
I'm not going to buy stock in saying that sixes is better than field. I like what I like, but I also just like competition. I like seeing balls in the back of the net. I like seeing teams come on top. Someone's going to clip that, but I can't even finish it. But yeah, I like competition. Whatever. So let me finish this.
Big competition guy. All right. Well, that's kind of awkward because right now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to buy the face-off. Now, listen, I know that everyone that's listening right now, you might find that a little bit surprising because of some of the discourse that we've been having on this here podcast over the last couple episodes. We might have been a little down on the face-off as of late, but I do – listen, I don't want to take back my takes that I've had about the face-off, but I do want to walk it back just a little bit because – on the last episode, I said that while I was watching sixes, at no point did I think to myself that I was missing the face-off. But after thinking about it a little bit, I realized that I was missing something from sixes. You want to know what that was, Doogs?
I know what it is.
You know what it is, but I'm going to tell you anyway. Without the face-off in lacrosse, the boys don't have any time to celebrate. Right? That was the one thing. I knew that I was missing something while watching sixes. I just couldn't piece it together until a little bit later, but we didn't get a chance to see any great celebrations in sixes. No sellies, no guys, whether it's little scrape the hand on the turf, toss it up. Maybe it's a stick toss, a stick spike. I don't know what it is. I don't care what it is. I just want to see the boys getting fired up with each other. And that's what the face-off allows you to do. Without the face-off, right? Romar Dennis splashes a 2. He has to haul his ass right back into the hole because there's going to be transition right away. So he doesn't get a chance to really celebrate that. So the face-off gives a nice little break in the game. It allows the boys to celebrate, allows the guys to be dudes. So that right there is the biggest reason for why you should keep the face-off in the game. Not because it's an integral part of lacrosse, but because it lets the boys get fired up.
Can I say two things going off it? And I agree with you. Can I just go off two things? When I said my thoughts that people fucking read me out in the comments, which is the exact thing that I want. It just boosted my ego 10 times. So thank you, gentlemen. But I said, did I not publicly state that I liked the face-off? I said if lacrosse could be huge with the face-off, to keep it. What these nimwits don't get is that I could put my ego to the side and say for the betterment of the sport, for the growth of the sport. And this wasn't like I have all the answers. It was just my opinion. What I do think, Jack Hanna in the comments, Water Dogs midfielder, had one of the best takes of it. He's like, we don't have to get rid of the face-off, but how about just like speed up a shot clock? And
I've got it. I've got it pulled up right here. So credit to the big brain on Jack Hanna. But he says easy fix: 30 to 45 second shot clock to get the wings and the face-off guy set. If your team is late, possession is awarded to the other team. So yeah, you get a quick celly. Get a quick, 10, 15 minutes to celebrate. You run your face-off guys, your wings out there, and that face-off happens in the next 45 seconds. And if you're not set up, boom, no face-off. Ball goes the other way. I think that's a great way of getting – you give me 30 to 45 seconds between goals, that's enough for everyone to catch their breath and get back in the swing of things, and then the face-off happens. It's when it's, guys take for fucking ever to get back onto the sidelines, and then they throw – their face-off guy out there, but oh shit, wait, no, we don't have a short stick on the other wing. Hey, you gotta go get on that wing, and then it ends up being like a whole 90-second ordeal.
And again, as someone that publicly stated that I like the face-off, and I'm just looking for better ways to grow the sport because I publicly fucking stated that I like the face-off. That what about like doing face-offs in the last 5 minutes of the game only? Face-offs at the end of every quarter, at the last 5 minutes of the half and last 5 minutes of the game, something like that. Like these are all options that are on the table. I'm looking to grow the game. I can put my ego to the side for a little bit and be like, this product that we have put out right now has not gotten the sport to the place that it should be, which is the moon. And then I was just going off this. One of the funniest takes I've seen on the internet so far this week is that when people say like sixes is not lacrosse, yes it is. Like yes it is. That's like saying box lacrosse is not lacrosse. That's like saying like lacrosse is lacrosse. They're saying just because there's no face-off, it's not lacrosse. Lacrosse is more lacrosse with the sticks and throwing it. Like if you just had face-offs, like, and you're like, all right, like that's 1-0, I won that one. Like that's not lacrosse. Do you know what I'm saying?
Saying that sixes isn't lacrosse because there are no face-offs is saying like football wouldn't be football if you didn't have the kickers.
No kickoff, football's done. No more field goals. What?
Oh, I'm not watching this.
Yeah, right. It was just an insane take to just be like, oh wait, oh you're talking about that version? Oh yeah, that's not lacrosse. It's like just like such a ridiculous take that I was like, kind of respect it. Whatever. Everyone's voting to their opinion, and that's why we're the best country.
Well, people's brains are currently in blenders with the sixes, but you know what? I'm actually gonna stay. I'm gonna keep the ball myself right now, going right into my cell because I'm gonna stay with face-offs, at least face-off adjacents. Right now, I am going to sell calling a stick check on the face-off guy. So for anyone who watched Maryland versus Princeton this weekend, Tyler Sandoval wins a face-off for Princeton, runs down the field, runs through a lot of guys, gets through a lot of checks. Realistically, the ball probably should have came out of his stick, but it didn't, and he goes on his way to score a goal. Coach Tillman throws a little challenge on the play, calls for a stick check on Sandoval. They check it. Obviously, that stick is going to be illegal because every single face-off stick in America is illegal. Goal gets wiped off the board, 2-minute non-releasable penalty. Saw a lot of discourse on this on the internet. I saw our good friend Larkin Kemp applaud the move from John Tillman. Obviously, saw the face-off guys up in arms about it. I am very much anti calling a stick check on a face-off guy. I think that it's a greasy move. And sure, like if you just get scored on like that, I understand I can understand the desire to throw that stick check, but in the same vein, like why doesn't Madelon just immediately ask to see Luke Weirman's stick, right? Like because like, hey, if you're going to call a stick check on our guy, we'll just do the same to you because your guy's stick is also definitely 100% illegal because these guys are just warping their sticks for every single day. Like at no point are these sticks legal. So I think it's a good unwritten rule to live by, to just let the face-off guys fucking work with whatever sticks they have. If you get scored on by one, tip your cap. Thanks for coming out. Whatever.
I saw a bunch of people get mad at Tillman for checking Sandoval's stick, obviously, and I didn't know where I stood on the issue. And then I ask myself this question every time I come to a predicament. WWBD, what would Belichick do? And I think that Belichick would do what Tillman did. And I immediately fucking loved the move. I was like, it was so Belichick-esque that it pissed. The more that I saw people get mad about it, I mean, like, it's an unwritten rule that you can't do it. It's about respect, blah, blah, blah. I was like, fucking love it. I was like, Tillman, do it next week too. And I saw Greg Grenlian talking about it, saying, like, it's based off, like, head warp, fucking, like, the head's illegal. If you use it too much, it's like, what are we talking about? Why are we selling illegal heads that like could become illegal throughout the game? Like, this is why I was like, ban the face off. No, I'm kidding.
So like you do, there is a point to be made there where it's like, all right, like if we're just, it does seem weird to just be like, all right, like, listen, all these guys, all their heads are going to be illegal. And like, we just like accept that that's going to be the fact. And then it's like, then what happens in a situation like this? I don't know. I just think maybe you should just slide high and late to a face-off guy if he's going to score, and then that'll kind of just take care of it on itself. Instead of like, don't call for the stick check, like police that yourselves. Don't call for the stick check. Don't call in the cops and get the 2-minute non-releasable and the goal wiped off the board. Just slide a little high and late to the guy next time, and it won't happen again.
Fair. And my sell, I think that, I am selling Tucker Dordevic stock. I mean, you leave
people are wondering, is he a program killer?
I'm not saying anything, but seriously, Tucker Dordevic leaves Cuse in shambles. I'm not saying he's played a role in it. He was a great player last year for Cuse, but he left Cuse and they were a little bit in shambles. He comes to Georgetown, the number 2 seed last year going into the tournament, 0-3, number 3. There's just one common theme with Tucker Dordevic. And it's just, he goes to these programs that have a lot of future, a lot of promise, and he's just killing them. Killing programs. Program killer. So I'm selling Tucker Dordevic stock. Now that we got that clip, that is presented by Hot Tamales.
Dude, I feel bad for the guy because, obviously, like he didn't have his greatest game. Obviously having to go up against Chris Fake. No one's going to have a great game against him, but like he has put up a decent amount of points through these first 3 games. It's just it's just that Georgetown fucking stinks right now and they can't figure it out. I would say though, like I would be fine with selling stock of running your offense through Tucker Dordevic. I think that would be a very fair thing to say. Kind of the same thing. Like I would sell stock in running your offense through Sam Hamley, not to completely shit on Oregon lacrosse here, but like, I think that those are like 2 really good pieces to really, to finish your offense. But like, I don't know, running it through them seems a little bit dicey right now for these guys. So I'm with you on that aspect of, I'm definitely not buying Tucker Dordevic stock right now. I might hold, but I'm not.
I just wanted the clip, to be honest. If anyone's actually listening to this, shout out you guys, because I think Tucker Dordevic's going to be the number 1 pick in the PLL draft.
Yeah. Well, I do have one bonus sell, and I'll make this quick. But so I just got a new phone for the first time in like 5 or 6 years. And so have you purchased a new phone recently? So the charging box, Apple doesn't they give you a new charger, but they don't give you the box that goes with it. I know,
it's crazy.
So I am selling all of Apple right now because that is fucked up. You're going to give me a charging cable, but you're not going to give me a box that it fits into. So now not only did I just buy a new phone, but I also have to buy this stupid fucking box. So that's my greater general life sell right now. Mid-major performance wasn't a huge week for the mid-majors out there. But I'm going to go ahead. Zach Cole. So 8-10. mid-major enough. Zach Cole goes 24 for 24 on faceoffs against Providence. St. Joe's just another wagon right now. The Hawks take down Providence 19-6. 24 for 24 on the faceoffs, and he had 22 GBs. So it's not like he's just winning it back to his wings. This man is doing it all himself. So the 22 GBs, a goal, 24 for 24. Zach Cole, stud.
Yeah, I'm going with Devin McClain from Brown, just from a small little school called Brown. Huge performance this week out of the mid-major Ivy League. Until further notice, the Ivy League's looking like the strongest mid-major conference this year.
You think that the Ivy might be able to get a team into the tournament?
You think Manhattan could beat Brown by 12?
Manhattan in the Ivy League final?
Yeah.
Shout out to the Jaspers. They also got a win this week, but I forget against who. But I do know that they won, so that's enough.
Mm-hmm.
And that's talking Manhattan Jaspers lacrosse. All right, the show's been going on for long enough at this point. Let's talk about a couple of these games coming up this weekend, and then we will wrap things up. Again, I need more Friday games. I need more good Friday games on the slate. I fucking love a nice Friday 5 p.m. game. I don't know if we have anybody. We definitely have something coming up on this Friday. Okay. Yeah, so that's actually not bad, especially because it's going to be an ESPN Plus game. All right, so yeah, UMass layout. Wait, no, but that's in the afternoon though.
1 p.m.
Yeah, I need those afternoon ones. All right, well, things get started. Denver going to Chapel Hill. So Denver, they got a win over Merrimack this past weekend. I want to say that was that game that weekend. UNC obviously coming off of the big win against Syracuse. UNC really love the way that they're playing right now. Obviously, every time you've got a game where you got Colin Krieg in between the pipes, you've got a chance. If I had to put any number on it, I would say that UNC's probably win by somewhere around like 2.5 goals. So a home game for UNC. Always love this little stretch that Denver goes on where they go to the Carolinas, but I think I'm going to keep rocking with UNC on this one. Anthony DeMeo also, not DeMeo, he's a Philly guy too. I don't know why I'm blanking on his name. Might be DeMarco.
Yes,
little Italian kid on UNC who can fucking shoot the shit out of the ball and finish really, really well. So love the way that UNC is playing right now. Gonna stick with the Tar Heels on this one.
Yeah, I'm going with the Tar Heels too. I think that Logan McGovern's a stud. Sean Goldsmith's a stud. I like that defense. Obviously, Krieg's the man. UNC hypothetically winning by 3 goals or more seems more than reasonable to me. I'm kind of high on them this year, so sticking with that.
All right. Well, let's see. We got Cornell at Ohio State. Is this going to be our first chance to see the new Ohio State facility?
No.
We've seen it before.
Yeah, one of they had it in their opener.
No. Well, either way, so Cornell is going
maybe not. It's some Big Ten network or something, probably.
Yeah, so we probably won't see it, but yeah, I think this is on BTN Plus. But Cornell going to Ohio State. Ohio State, obviously, a little tail tucked between their legs after getting spanked by Virginia. Cornell, one of the only teams in the Ivy to survive last weekend. They got a win over Lehigh. This is a good little tournament preview. I think that we could see these two teams coming up against each other in May. It's hard to take what happens against Virginia into consideration when you're playing against anybody else this year. I think that you play against Virginia, you're going to get fucking shit pumped, but that doesn't say more about you than it does just the fact that Virginia is an unstoppable force right now. So I still like Ohio State in this one. I haven't been blown away by Cornell so far this year. Obviously, it's still early, but yeah, I like Ohio State to bounce back in this one.
Yeah, I like Cornell in this one. Cornell has a Curse and a Hugh Kelleher, which is always good enough for me. I think that Hugh Kelleher is potentially a man that we'd see multiple times in the weight room of the week. So I'm going to roll with Cornell. It's still a little early for me to really get complete read on these teams, but if I had to pick a side, I'm going Cornell.
All right. Biggest game of the weekend, probably, especially for you over there. The Notre Dame Fighting Irish, just an absolute wagon traveling down to College Park to take on Maryland. This is, I believe, a 1 p.m. game on Saturday. So Notre Dame and Maryland, a rematch, the 2021 quarters, the infamous Notre Dame by 5. If I had to guess on this one, Maryland should win by somewhere around like 1.5 goals. So Terps and Notre Dame. Doogs, I'm going to give you the mic on this one.
Notre Dame, what they were able to string together in the past couple of weeks has been nothing short of impressive. Just the difference with Tevlin on the roster, Fake, the experience, Westland on the man up, the Kavanaugh brothers. Notre Dame, right now as it stands, is a way better team than Maryland. The only thing that kind of scares me, to some extent, is the Maryland defense. But, I mean, Notre Dame last year kind of diced them up for, 11 goals? So, as far as Maryland being impressive, they ain't playing Princeton. They ain't playing Princeton. Dante, you got Kavanaughs now. So just so you know, some real lacrosse players from Long Island. So I think Notre Dame wins this one by 15 plus.
You son of a bitch. No, I think that obviously Maryland being at home, they're starting to figure some things out a little bit. I think that they know that they're way more of a defensive team this year than they've ever been before. And obviously they just kind of have the history of winning these games against Notre Dame. But yeah, I mean, you look at what happened last year. Notre Dame played Maryland closer than anybody else in the country, besides, maybe that final against Cornell. But I don't know. The way that I see this, I really like this game for a lot of different reasons. I think that it's going to be a great one to watch, but when it all's said and done, Notre Dame has 2 Kavanaughs on their roster and Maryland has none. So I think that that's going to be the difference maker. Think, Notre Dame, maybe you get a couple ride backs out of the Kavanaughs, steal a couple possessions away out of Maryland. Their offenses can look anemic at times. You get those couple extra possessions to crack through the Maryland defense. I like Notre Dame's chances in this one. So I don't know. I'd say that this game comes down to the final possession, but you have 2 Kavanaughs on the roster. Other team has none. I'm typically going to go with the Kavanaughs on that one. So I'm also on Notre Dame. Georgetown and Princeton. Does Georgetown get their first win of the season, or should they be relegated to D3?
I think they get their first win of the season.
All right, big bounce back for Georgetown in this one. That's at Princeton. Penn and Penn State. So Penn State coming off the big win against Yale. I feel like they're primed for a letdown in this one. Also with Penn not looking too hot for the most part against Duke. I think that they're looking for a bounce back. So I like Penn pretty big in this game.
Yeah, I'll take you in that one.
And then this game right here, I think that I've planned this out perfectly. So Sunday, 4 p.m. So this weekend, I'm going down to Austin, Texas to do a little bit of barbecue this weekend. I've got a flight leaving Austin at 4 p.m. I think that Austin's 2 hours behind. So I think that I'm pretty sure that it's at like, I don't even know how time zones work right now. My brain is so fried, but I think that I'll be in the airport for most of this game, that I'll actually be able to watch it instead of in the air. So I'm pretty pumped about that. Duke at Syracuse. So Brennan O'Neill in the Dome, McAdory in the Dome to take on Joey Spallina. Just a nice little Team 91 reunion over there. Syracuse coming off that loss against UNC. Duke coming off the win against Penn. Do we see ankles snatched by McAdory in the Dome?
This is a Virginia-Ohio State game. This is going to be Duke by this is. I was joking about Notre Dame by 15 plus, but I don't think I'm joking when I say Duke will win this by 10 plus.
Love it. If they were to win by anything, I'd say maybe like 2.5 goals. So seems like that's a lay the hammer there. Yeah, a lot of good games in college lacrosse this weekend. Not any that I feel confident enough to be talking about, but a pretty good weekend for some of the mid majors out there. So a lot of good games on the schedule. Looks like a decent amount of them can be found on ESPN Plus. Pretty much the easiest way to watch lacrosse right now. So solid weekend for everyone to get on the couch, watch some college lax, sprinkle in a little bit of college basketball. And this is March, baby. Make sure that you are following us on socials, on Twitter and Instagram. We are at the Crease Dive. Doogs has been running the TikTok, so make sure you're following that at Stool Crease Dive on there. YouTube, again, if you guys aren't watching these on YouTube, you're missing out on Tech Doogs throwing up all these clips. So make sure that you are subscribed to us there not at the Crease Dive, but we're the Crease Dive on YouTube. Leave a like, leave a comment. And in the meantime, we'll be keeping things low to high until the day we die. We out.